There's a war in my head. And not the dramatic kind. The kind that's always there. The one that follows you when you try to go to sleep. The one that follows you when you try to go to work. That follows you to the gym. The one that just makes it impossible to exist. And lately, I've been thinking about something that's just been bothering me. For most of my life, pressure has been my fuel. Pressure made me work harder. Pressure made me steady. Pressure made me get through college. Pressure made me continue going when I wanted to quit. Pressure made me who I am today. But now that my life is finally getting better, I just don't know what to do without it. That's a scary thing to admit because when pressure is no longer there, who am I when it's gone? There are things that still piss me off. Getting cut from my basketball team 4 years in a row. Not once, not twice, but 4. Every year I acted like it didn't bother me. It bothered me. But I'm still mad about the opportunities I just didn't take. Relationships I fumbled. Friends I just drifted away from. The years I spent caring way too much about what other people thought. The years I spent not posting videos because I was scared. The years I spent pretending to be someone just more acceptable. The years I spent putting myself in a box. I'm so mad I just didn't start sooner. I'm mad I didn't take more risk. I'm mad that I let fear win as many times as it did. And if I'm being real, I'm a lot more upset about things deeper than that. I'm mad that my family just isn't what I thought it was when I was a kid. I'm mad that people I look up to don't even talk anymore. I'm mad that I've seen people destroy relationships over pride, money, ego, land. I'm so mad that many things I thought were gonna be permanent did not turn out to be. Because when you're young, you think the world is one way. Then you get older, and the illusion breaks.
There was a point in my life where I wasn't even comfortable in my own house. I was scared to leave for too long. Scared of what I might come back to. Scared of what I might wake up to. The only place I really felt comfortable was my own room. And that's a weird thing to carry because people look at you years later and see someone functioning. Someone that's working. Someone that is making progress. But they don't see what built the foundation underneath that person. They don't see the version of you that was just trying to survive that day. Ironically, I never really dealt with any of this. I just converted it. I turned into fuel. Every insecurity, every failure, every regret, every disappointment. I took all of it and told myself, good. Remember this feeling. Never let this happen again. Never be broke again. Never be powerless again. Never be dependent again. Never be that version of yourself again. And it worked. That's the problem. It worked. Because eventually you stop using the fuel. The fuel becomes you. And I think that's what happened to me. For so long, pressure was the thing pushing me forward. The fear, the frustration, the anger, the feeling that I wasn't where I wanted to be. I used all of it until one day I realized I wasn't carrying the pressure anymore. The pressure was carrying me. I got so used to carrying weight that carrying weight felt normal. I got so used to fighting uphill that flat ground felt wrong. I got so used to tension that peace felt suspicious. Like if things were calm, I must be missing something. If things were quiet, I must be following behind. And that's when I realized something. Earlier this year, I wrote this down. There is a war in my head. And I didn't write this because my life was falling apart, but because a part of me was trying to move forward with my life. And then the other part of me was still holding on to everything that got me here. Trying to let go of the past while knowing the past made me who I am today. Trying to heal while wondering if the pain was the very thing that made me ambitious in the first place. And I think that's been the real struggle. That's probably why Vegeta became my favorite anime character. Not because he's strong, not because he always wins, but because he's always carrying something, always trying to prove something, always trying to become more. And even when he's successful, he's dissatisfied. Even when he's powerful, he's chasing another level. And for a long time, I thought that was strength. And, maybe a part of it is, but eventually Vegeta learned something. He learned how to smile, he learned how to be a father, he learned how to be present. He learned how to stop living entirely in conflict. And maybe that's the real evolution of his character. Not becoming stronger, but learning peace. And then there's Thorfinn. And what hit me wasn't the revenge, it was what happened after. Because everyone talks about having a purpose, but no one speaks about losing one. What happens when the thing that gave your life direction disappears? What happens when the enemy is gone? What happens when the revenge is completed? There's this emptiness, this silence, this question of, now what? And honestly, I think that's what I've been doing lately. Not being empty, but standing in a space that used to be occupied by pressure. And then there's Kakashi, who taught me something completely different. He's an example of just because you're functioning, it doesn't mean that you're okay. Or just because you're progressing, it doesn't mean you've healed. Or just because you're succeeding, doesn't mean you process what actually happened. A lot of people are carrying weight quietly, and because they keep moving, nobody stops to notice. Sometimes not even themselves. And when I zoom out, I don't even think this just happens to me. I think it happens to humans all across the world because pressure can create movement, and historically we've seen it. The wars, the empires, the race to space, moments where humanity became obsessed with solving a singular problem, and progress exploded. But I'm not saying those things were good. Far from it, actually. People suffered, people died, entire generations paid the cost of their predecessors. We still live with the consequences. The point isn't that pressure is good. The point is that pressure moves things. The problem is that movement always costs something. And eventually you have to ask yourself, how much are you willing to pay?
I paid more enough. Actually, I overpaid. And this is what I'm still trying to learn. Not to forget, not to pretend none of it happened, not to erase the things that built me, but I'm still trying to learn how to put them down because I think there's a difference. Those experiences did create the person you see today, but they don't have to still own me. The pressure, the fear, anger, regret, pain, all of it did its job, and I'm still here. So maybe it's time to stop carrying things that already serve their purpose. And if you're anything like me, if you're still holding on to something because you're scared of who you'll be without it, you should let it go. Not because it wasn't important, not because it didn't shape you, but because it already did its job. It already changed you. It already taught you what it needed to teach you. So let it go and evolve.